Do you feel like the best years of your life are over, that life is passing you by? Well, that's what we're going to talk about today, about how you can do a life reset and reinvent your future. My name is Happy Jones, and I'm 87 years old. That means I'm an old lady. I have the turkey neck of an old lady, I have wrinkles of an old lady, I wear earplugs and have false teeth. But here's the thing, I don't live like an old lady. In 2 weeks, I'm going to get on an airplane and fly to California and compete in a dance competition. And before the end of the year, I'm going to fly to Ohio and then Las Vegas and also compete in dance competitions. And officially today, with the release of going live with this video, I'm now doing another life reset. And most important, I don't feel like I'm an old lady. I feel younger and stronger and more alive today than I ever expected to feel at this stage in my life. And it all started 18 years ago. At age 69, it hit me that I was turning 70, and I felt like I was entering the downhill years of my life. It all changed when one day I did something that I had always wanted to do when I was younger. I called up and made an appointment and started taking ballroom dance lessons. And that changed my life completely. I've had 18 wonderful years of having all kinds of fun and traveling around the country and putting on false eyelashes and bling and having a good time. But here's the thing. It wasn't just dancing that changed my life. It was taking that first step towards something new, something I always wanted to do, instead of assuming it was too late. And if you feel like your time has passed you by, I want to show you that it hasn't, that you can reinvent your life no matter your age. As long as you're breathing, you can reinvent your life and reset your life and change your future. So how do you do this? How do you go from feeling like your best years are behind you and moving into a new direction? Maybe you know what you want to do. Well, actually, maybe we should say, why should you do this? Why is it important? Well, I can think of lots of reasons why. But I think the most important and the valid one is that by doing a life reset and open yourself up to new possibilities, you're looking forward. You're not looking backward. You're not looking in the past. And I'm not a doctor and I'm not a scientist, but I firmly believe that when you live a life looking forward, you're going to live longer. And I think that I've reached this age I have reached now because 18 years ago, I started doing something that kept me looking forward. And now it's sort of becoming, I'm used to it. It's part of my daily life, dancing. So now I'm starting something new to look forward to by starting this YouTube channel. But to get back to you and how to reset your life, I want you to try something. If you have a pencil and paper handy, I want you to write down 3 words. If you don't have a paper or pencil handy, try to memorize the 3 words. The first word is activities. And the second word is create. And the third word is business. And I think I'm actually going to add a 4th. Write down YouTube. Now, later this evening or when you have time to sit down and reflect on things and think about your past dreams, I want you to go to these 3 words and we'll take them step by step. Let's start with activities. I want you to think of your last year in high school and think of anything that during those years, during that time, that you planned on doing in the future, or you wanted to do in the future, like hobbies, sports, travel, that you wanted to do before the end of your life, and that you never did. And I want you to write down, list it, even if it's something that you know is impossible to do for you in this day. As an extreme example, to show you what I mean, for instance, in your last year of high school, you wanted to be a professional football player. But if you're 80 years old now, you're not going to be a professional football player. But I want you to write that down anyhow. I'm going to come back to that. And anything you think of, it doesn't have to be football. That was just to show an example of the extreme here. Anything that you can think of that you wanted to do, even if you think it's impossible now, write it down. Now, let's go to create. Have you ever wanted to write a book? Do you want to write your memoirs before the end of your life? Well, now is the perfect time to start. Did you ever want to do painting as a hobby, just something you like, but you feel you have no talent? Well, start taking lessons. Grandma Moses started at 78, and she didn't have any training, and in her 80s she was famous, and her paintings were in big demand. If you like, say you play an instrument for fun or for your friends, or you play it at church, have you ever thought about composing your own songs or your own music? Write that down. Anything you could think of, write down. Now, next thing on the list on, if at any time in your life you've ever even had a small niggling inkling of an idea to start your own business, write that down also. Some important businesses were started by older men. I mean, by older people. Okay, they could be started by women too, but these are the ones I think of right now. Home Depot, IBM, Kentucky Fried Chicken, Walmart. Well, I think he was 44. So that's still a youngster. At my age now, that's still a youngster. I think he was a young man. So you know you've got these on the list, and the very last one is YouTube. Think of all the things and write down things you know, what your life lessons you've learned through your life. These are important things to share, and this could be another challenge to write down. Write them down and think of a YouTube channel you could start. Because if I can do it at 87, anybody can do it. And remember, I am not exactly a tech genius here either. Now look at this list. Does anything, and use your intuition, does any of them call to you? Do they excite or inspire you? Only you know what is best for you you'd like to try. But let's say some of them do. Pick a few out that you do. And then now you have to look at them and think, are they doable? Now look at this list and evaluate your options. Is your choice still doable? For instance, I'm going to go back to the football player example. If he's 80 years old, he can't, it's not doable. And if during the years you've lost interest in football, it's not doable, you have no interest in it, cross it off your list. But if you love the game and you remain a football fanatic, I'll say that you watch all the games and you know all the players and it's important to you, leave it on your list. Now, if your choice is doable, that's great. If it's not doable, now you have to think about, can you repurpose it? and I'm going to use the pro football player again now. He can't, his first choice, he can't play football. That's obvious. Can he repurpose it? Yes. If he's still involved in the game, he could start a YouTube channel talking about football, a fans football channel. Another example I would tell you, and this is a real life story. I know a woman, she lived to 90, and when she was young, she wanted to be an actress or a movie star, and she never did. She ended up getting married, having children, and the dream never came true. But in her 70s, so she and a couple other women started a puppet troupe. And she wrote the scripts, the acts. She created the characters, and they made the puppets, and they called themselves the Golden Olders, and I love that name. And the uniqueness of ladies in their 70s starting this troupe eventually caught the attention of the press, so they would occasionally have articles written about them. And eventually, even the governor of the state invited them to the governor's mansion. So here she repurposed her dream. She didn't become a movie star, but she's acting, she's creating, she's writing, and she's doing something wonderful. So older, in her 70s, 80s, she's having this great purpose in her life, and a challenge and fun. Now, do you have to also think of your health and things like, that's how when you start thinking of a person. Now, maybe you don't have the money for it, whatever your choice is. Well, that it's itself is a life reset. You need to sit down and start writing a list of how you can make more money. If you're retired, that means you have some income. So think of part-time jobs. When I started the dancing, it was it's a very expensive hobby, and the competitions are expensive. Not the dancing, but the competitions are expensive, and the gowns are expensive. So I got a part-time job as a demonstrator for a pet food company in pet stores for Petco. I didn't work for Petco or PetSmart, but I demonstrated in their stores. And I took that money and saved it, and that helped pay for my first dress. So before you can do your choice, your life reset at that point be by how to make more money. Now, after you've got these choices, now you do the research. You learn what skills, tools, or knowledge you need to know to do your choice. And you find your resources, books. In today's day with the internet and YouTube, you can learn so much. There's so much available to help you find out what you want to learn. And the last thing to do is the hardest. And that is to find the courage to take that first step. To find the courage to film your first video, or the courage to go live with your first video. And admit if you're afraid of something, acknowledge your fears, but don't let it stop you. I fearful when I made the call to go take ballroom dance lessons. I was excited about it. And I walked in, I went up to the receptionist, and she took my information and told me to sit down, and a teacher would come and give me a lesson. But as I sat down, I started looking at the dancers on the floor, taking the lessons, and I saw all these young women with their nice, athletic-looking bodies. And here I am, 69 years old and 50 pounds overweight, and I started feeling uglier and fatter and older, and I'm thinking to myself, what am I doing here? Am I crazy? And I became very uncomfortable, and I was just at the point that I was going to go to the receptionist and tell her I had changed my mind. And at that point, the dancer came over, or the teacher came over and held out his hand and introduced himself and held out his hand to me to take me to the dance floor. And I took that first step. I'm so glad I did, and you'll be very glad you did too. It's the first step that is the hardest. Now this is a wrap. If you like this video, please hit the subscribe button and leave a comment. I'd love to hear about your life and your goals, and especially any of you that have done life resets in your older years. So I'd love to hear from you.